Mary Beth, Corey, Toby, Jordan, Brianna, Bowden, Cinda. Thank you, the family, for giving me the opportunity to make these few comments. As I was looking at the video, I realized when I remembered seeing you as children, and then I see you there, and I see beautiful men you become. I realize everybody has already said it, the beautiful family that comes from here, the man who was your father, and then I see you, three strong men with beautiful families, and thank you for allowing me to say these few words. Tony was a colleague, friend, and a justice man who joined many of us on the CRLA road. As I ponder Tony's commitments in their totality, they speak to a justice person who gave his career to the service of the needy along the way. Those many, many years of his working life spent with us, spent on the legal aid issues, and some of those non-legal aid issues, important to the low-income and farm worker communities served by CRLA, by Bay Area Legal Aid. With us, Tony was a regional counsel. With us, he was director of litigation. And then with us, he initiated CRLA into the nascent world of law and technology. He brought us there. Some of his friends have told me that in his career, with us at least, they said, Jose, you will never know how much CRLA work meant to him when he was there. And hearing that, I feel a strange pride, knowing that we gave Tony his space to do what his heart demanded of him, because as everybody has said, he was a heart guy, leading from here. So now we can say that Tony was involved in that marathon of service for the fullness of his career, always giving back, taking always less than what he gave. That long-term commitment, that marathon that every once in a while, when I speak to my employees, I speak about that travel as legal advocates for the rural poor. Some of us will be in that service for a very short while. But then I will always say that some of us will be in that service of giving back as a life thing. And to the latter, like Tony, I say that sooner or later, we need to find our personal ways of staying the course. And all the while renewing the spirit that brought us here. Because the road is long and tiring. But on that long journey, Tony was blessed with a special disposition that people have already spoken to. A special disposition towards calm, toward faith, and the spiritual. I always felt, in all those years he gave us, that he always led with his heart before his mind. And I know it is natural to tire, and I don't know if Tony was tired, but I always know that he always needed his renewal. And actually, as an aside, I shouldn't talk about him being tired. Now that I saw that bin full of vitamins, I kind of thought there's no way that he could ever have been tired. But in the end, health and life give out. When the day comes that we're called. And I think that at this moment, I wish I would have had the chance to thank Tony personally. In this latter part of his life, personally for all those marathon years which he spent on our road at CRLA. But I thank him here knowing that his spirit is in our midst. And in memory, I read a spiritual passage from a book called The Desert is Fertile. It's a passage by a Brazilian theologian by the name of Dom Helder Câmara, and it speaks about the justice traveler. This passage, to me, as I was thinking, describes Tony as I came to know him. Setting out on the road. Setting out is first of all getting out of oneself, breaking through the shell of selfishness, hardening us within our own ego, as if we were the center of everything, refusing to be ringed in by the problems of our own small world. Humanity is more important, and our task is to serve humanity. Setting out is not covering miles of land or sea or traveling faster than the speed of sound. It is first and foremost opening ourselves to other people. Opening ourselves to ideas, including those with which we disagree. This is what the good traveler should do. It is possible to travel alone. But the good traveler knows that the journey is human life and life needs company. Companion means the one who eats the same bread. Happy are they who feel they are always on the road and that everyone they meet is their chosen companion. Good travelers take care of their weary companions. They guess when they lose heart. They take them as they find them and listen to them. Intelligently, gently, above all, lovingly, they encourage them to go on and recover their joy in the journey. That was our friend Tony White. That was my friend Tony White. He was a militant of life. Tony, el compañero, con quien quebramos pan, friend with whom we broke bread. Tony leaves a hollow in that communal justice soul that drives our work every day. We will miss you, friend. Adelante, compañero, tu espíritu al frente, siempre andando hacia la luz. Forward, companion, your spirit before us, walking, always walking toward light.
I wish Tony was here. Looking out at all of you, it is quite a tribute to our good friend. My name is Ramon, and the Tone and I were friends and colleagues for well over 30 years. As a colleague, he was a tireless advocate for justice and always worked to make this world better than how he found it. As a friend, he was nothing but love standing on 2 feet, maybe in weird shoes, but he was love standing on 2 feet. All of us who worked with Tony at Bay Area Legal Aid extend our condolences to Mary Beth, boys, and the rest of the family. Tony, to you, we offer our profound gratitude and love. Gratitude for the leadership role that you played in bringing together disparate legal aid organizations to form one kick-ass law firm that continues to be a beacon of hope for thousands of low-income families throughout the greater Bay Area. We offer our love because you were always so much bigger than your accomplishments. Yes, we depended on you for the tools we needed to work effectively, but we came to rely on you for something far more precious than that: your wisdom and your compassion. For no matter what challenges we might be facing, you always took the time to listen and to teach us through word and deed how to live a more meaningful, beautiful life. And so please embrace our tears of sorrow now that you're past, and rejoice in our tears of happiness for having had the privilege of knowing and loving you, our dear and blessed friend.
Genevieve Richardson. Many of you know me as Gigi. I'm lucky to be the Executive Director of Bay Area Legal Aid and to have been Tony's colleague for the last 18 years. Like all of you, Tony was my dear friend, and he was my mentor. It is in that order, because as I've heard echoed from countless colleagues, Tony mentored through friendship. Though he had decades of experience on me, he didn't brag about his extensive career or the fact he played a significant role in bringing our community into the computer era. He inspired through his passion, his tireless dedication, his genuine interest in each of us as individuals. How we were going to stay resilient, stay a part of the larger social justice cause, and how we were going to always continue to improve services for our clients. Honestly, I don't know exactly how or when Tony came into my life. I just know that he was there at every major turn and whenever I needed him. As a brand new attorney in Richmond, he made sure I knew I was never alone. He checked in about what the newest issues were facing our clients. He listened and he shared ideas of how to enhance my advocacy. And he reminded me to breathe. As he did for all of us, and he continued to do throughout the years. After several years of practice, I decided to soul search, career search. Tony sent me a Mark Twain quote that I carried with me. And he told me and encouraged me to go without hesitation. Catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, and discover. When I returned and I got more involved in regional and statewide and national work, I quickly learned how widely known and admired Tony was. And again, I learned how lucky I was to have his mentorship and his guidance. Learning firsthand from his great skill of listening and respecting individuals, their needs and their loyalties, balanced with an artful encouragement and movement towards innovation and change. His mentorship continued to our last coffee break just a few weeks before he passed. As always, it was easy and open, free-flowing, mutual, and empowering. And of course, it started with him asking about my stress level. We had another insightful exchange that brought together years of experience from the big pictures to the daily issues. All done through friendship, focused on empowerment, and of course, breathing. Fortunately, I knew in those moments, and I shared with Tony, how grateful I was, and I am, to have entered the social justice movement in the midst of such incredible mentors as Tony and those with whom I shared the stage with today. As I told Bay Legal and our summer interns at our annual picnic, we call ourselves the Bay Legal family, a concept that Tony passionately fostered. We are a family for many reasons, including because we inherited our struggle from the generations before us, and we carry on and we build upon their legacy. I am a better person and a better advocate because Tony was in my life. Bay Legal is a stronger family and a kick-ass law firm because Tony was and will always be a part of it. In further recognition of Tony's vast accomplishments and his impact, it is my pleasure to introduce Senate Majority Leader William Monning, fondly known to many of you as Bill, for his work with United Farm Workers and California Rural Legal Assistance, and his service as the Director of the Salvadorian Medical Relief Fund and International Physicians for the Prevention of Nuclear War. Senator Monning is here to present Tony's family with a resolution passed by the State Senate, which recently adjourned in Tony's memory. Thank you.
Good afternoon, friends. Thank you, Genevieve. I want to start by thanking Mary Beth and all the family for giving those of us who love Tony so much this opportunity to come together to share our love and our grief with each other. I also want to thank Donnie and Adrian, Clyde, Mark, David, Abby, Matt, and so many others who collaborated to organize this wonderful tribute as we celebrate Tony's life. I want to thank my friends and former colleagues, Jose and Ramon, who I had the honor of working with as a younger lawyer with CRLA. And thank you, Genevieve, and to Bay Area legal family for your support, not only of those you represent, but for giving Tony a home and a pathway to share his love, his knowledge, and his expertise. I first met Tony when we were law students in the Bay Area, but we actually met through the National Lawyers Guild as law student members with the Guild. Our paths crossed periodically through the years, usually at Guild meetings or Guild dinners in the Bay Area, when Tony was working with CRLA in Fresno, and various intersections. But because I don't live in the Bay Area, we didn't have the regular opportunities of getting together. Our mutual good friend Mark Vanderhout often kept me aware, and we struggled when we learned of Tony's coma and the undiagnosed infection that he suffered many decades ago, and that he was given 30 plus years of life to know the preciousness of life and family. But it was in recent years, interestingly, through the wonder of Facebook, a platform that has sought to influence elections or been used to influence elections and to sell products and to track our movements, but also to connect friends. And a little over 3 years ago, Tony and I reconnected and friended through Facebook. And we maintained a regular connection, commenting on news of the day, shared frustrations, our pride in our families and our grandchildren. Tony connected me with his son, Corey, and learned of his amazing work following in his father's lawyer footsteps. I just want to share a quick story before I present the family with the Senate resolution. About a year ago, my wife Dana and I took a 3-day weekend down in Cambria, the southern part of my district in San Luis Obispo County. And we came up to the southern point of the Mud Creek Slide and hiked in the Los Padres National Forest. And I took some iPhone photos and I posted some of those on Facebook. And Tony, in one of his messages, asked about one of the photos. Where were we when that picture of the beautiful Big Sur coastline was taken? We had a short exchange about it. And then a couple weeks later, a box showed up. I'm usually in Sacramento during the week. I come home on Thursday evenings on a good week, and there's a pile of mail, and there was this UPS parcel, and I opened it. And Tony had had that photo of the Big Sur coast mounted on a metal sheet background, a very modern, and it was blown up, and it was just such an amazing gesture. The photo's really not that great. It captures the wonderful Big Sur coast. But now that photo hangs in our San Luis Obispo office looking north along the coast, and it will always be a very precious, precious connection for me and our family with Tony. And I just wanted to share that act of generosity. There was no run up to that. There was no real back and forth. It was just Tony acting on an impulse, acting on an inspiration, but mostly acting on a friendship that we'd been able to rekindle, and I should give him credit for that because I think he was the one who reached out and friended me. And now I turn to the honor of my position as Majority Leader in the California State Senate, as we are able to adjourn our sessions in memory of fallen heroes and sheroes who served the state of California. I'm going to spare you all the whereases because you've heard many of them today. I will say these are not that common, maybe one person per Senate session we adjourn in their memory. I want to thank those who provided us with the information that is provided in this recognition. But it's the California State Senate and the people of the state of California thanking Tony White and his family, his children, his grandchildren, for their service to the people of the state of California. And I will conclude just reading the last couple of whereases and the final words. Whereas throughout his career, Tony was a leader in the social justice movement, both in the Bay Area and nationally, and was an active member of the National Lawyers Guild, having joined the organization during his first year in law school, where he made many lifelong friendships and worked tirelessly to further social justice causes. And in addition to his advocacy for and tireless dedication and contributions to low-income clients and their communities, he will be remembered for his kindness, thoughtfulness, mentorship, and inspiration. And whereas limitless in his vision and boundless in his capacity to excel, Tony White shall ever stand in memory as a beacon of hope for all people who believe strongly in their obligation to improve the quality of life for future generations. And upon his passing, he is survived by his beloved wife of 40 years, Mary Beth, his loving sons, Coriel, Tobias, and Jordan, his wonderful daughters-in-law, Brianna and Lisa, his adored grandchildren, Bowden, Lucinda, and Audrey, his siblings, Amy, Andy, Molly, Tasty, Samantha, Michael, and Nick, and a wide circle of family and friends, including his 8 fellow men's group members with whom he met twice a month for 36 years. So whether that men's group met secretly or confidentially, it's now in the hands of the state of California. Resolved by the California State Senate that we join the family and friends of Anthony Gilbert White in celebrating and revering the accomplishments and legacy of a distinguished and caring individual who lived life to the fullest, whose generosity was extended to everyone without hesitation or expectation of reward, and whose spirit will live forever in the hearts and memories of all his loved ones and all who loved him. And let me just close by saying, Tony, a part of me died with you, a part of you lives with me. Thank you.